Welcome to Book It With You, episode 101. We are super excited to share with you the best book we want to recommend to you. That is our tagline. And today we have this very awesome book to bring to you, which is this Atlas of the Heart. And this is a book by Brené Brown, Mapping Meaningful Connection and the Language of Human Experience. And let Gideon share with you who is Brené Brown.
Brené Brown actually is a research professor at the University of Houston. I think she lives in Texas, and she is the number one author for many books. And some of the books are quite familiar to maybe to us. The Gift of Imperfections, Daring Greatly, Rising Strong, and Braving the Wilderness, and Dare to Lead. Her TED Talk on the power of vulnerability is the one of the top 5 most viewed TED Talk in the world, with more than 50 million views. And she is, I would say, she is the expert in talking about courage, vulnerability, shame, empathy, and courage. So today, let's look at this her book, Atlas of the Heart.
Yes, this is a hard copy book and definitely is very thick and separated into 13 chapters. Definitely, it is such an important book that we learn how to express ourselves using the right language of the words. So let's go to the number one of the chapter. It's places that we go, that things when things are uncertain or too much. All right. So under this category, there are several words that we can use, starting from stress, overwhelm, anxiety, worry, avoidance, excitement, dread, fear, and vulnerability. And let us share with you some of the key things that we learn and maybe that really want to share with you more about that. First is about stress and overwhelm. So for me, um, I found that a lot of people love to use stress, this word, right? And definitely I'm a stress management expert as well. So overwhelm, as you look at that, what it means by overwhelm stress. We feel stress when we evaluate environmental demand as beyond our ability to cope successfully. This includes the elements of unpredictability, uncontrollability, and feeling overloaded. That is when you feel stress. So definitely when you feel stress, you will experience the physiology and also psychology changes, the reaction from your body and also your emotion. So high levels of perceived stress definitely can bring you the different, you will see the correlation between rapid aging. You experience a decrease of immune function. Take note on that. When you feel stressed, you will have decrease of immune function, greater inflammatory processes, and also you feel less sleep. Your sleep may not be super well, and also you will have poorer human behaviors. So I would say not human behavior. It's a health behavior. So that is the experience of stress that you can bring to you. What is overwhelm? So if you say that stress is the weeds, that feeling overwhelmed is actually being blown. This is the definition by Brené Brown. So you look at that is when you feel overwhelmed, there is extreme level of stress. That is the time that you feel like unsure what to do about it. Like you don't know what to do with this. So when you feel overwhelmed, definitely you'll feel like you have some poor decision making in the process. So that is some of the sharing that I want to share with you. And I know that Gideon, you have one words that you particularly love to share, right?
Yeah, I would like to talk about the last one, the vulnerabilities, and 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 I think this is, I mean, for me, this is the main thing that a person need to have um before you can tell the other person your emotions. We are talking about different expression of emotion here right now, like all is stated here. If vulnerability is the emotions that we experience during times of uncertainty, risks, and emotion exposure. If we don't have this vulnerability, we wouldn't able to tell the other person how we feel, what is our emotion. Because if we don't possess this vulnerability, we will want to hide because we think that, I mean, traditionally people think vulnerability is a weakness, but it's actually a measure of courage. And I think even there's a lot of book already talking about leadership, and they would recommend vulnerability leadership rather than leader that have no weakness. I think a lot of time the leaders or people on the top may want to try not to show their weakness because they would think that this is not up to their standard of leader. But I think recently there's a lot of study already that tell us that as a person or as a leaders, if we show our vulnerability, we would gain more trust and have more connection with the people around us.
Yes.
But I will agree that it takes a lot of courage to build this vulnerability.
Yeah, it is actually, yeah, we have to have a lot of courage to show, to share, our own emotion, which is not the very positive way. It's really a greatest measure of courage.
Yeah.
So good. Then we have the second part we want to go with this.
Second one is talking about chapter is talking about places we go when we compare. And I like to always say this: if you want to be not happy, you just compare. and yeah, it's very easy. And comparison is actually, if you see the list here, comparison actually is not an emotion, but it drives all sort of feelings that can affect our relationships and our self-worth. No, it's the mother of all these emotions. And according to the book, the most scary thing about comparison is it can happen unconsciously, uncontrollably by us. And and according to the book, comparison happen to us, meaning that you don't. It is, as a human, is very nature by nature. If you see something, if you hear something, if you feel something, your subconscious will want to compare. And when you compare, you will have other emotion like showing here: envy, jealous, resentment, or all these admiration. Of course, sometimes it can be positive, can negative, but we have to be conscious that comparison is unconscious, so that when this comparison seep into our mind, we have to make some logic decisions whether we should do this or we should not do that. So I think comparison is a thing we have to conscious about. Yeah.
Yes. When we have the outward comparison, that really can inspire us. And at the same time, it can demoralize us as well. So when we have downward comparison, that's definitely,
Yes.
you'll definitely feel a little bit depressed from that. So
Joyce want
I
to talk
want
about some alien words now.
alien words, Schadenfreude and Freudenfreude. The alien word is, according to Gideon, is actually from German. This is a compound German words. Schaden means harm. Freude means joy. So it simply means the pleasure or the joy derived from someone else suffering or misfortune. So when you feel like happy when other people are suffering or they're experiencing something misfortune, means you are actually experiencing this emotion, Schadenfreude. So the opposite of it is Freudenfreude. That is just the right opposite. When someone is experiencing success, they have some achievement, and you feel happy for them. You feel the joy celebrating together with them. That is Freude. So you look at, I mean, this word is something new to me. I never read this. I never get to know there's such a word, but I know that there are some people, they won't genuinely, they won't genuinely, happy for someone when someone have some achievement or success, or they might feel happy when someone have some misfortune, which is definitely not a good way to go. So something to look for, new words coming into your life. All right, let's go to the third category.
Third category is about places we go when things don't go as planned. And I want to talk about the first one, boredom. And boredom to me is like uncomfortable state of wanting to engage in a satisfying activity, but we are not able to do it. And when we are in boredom, our mind tends to wander, daydream, and going around. And according to the books, boredom is not a bad thing actually. Boredom is actually a calling for your imaginations. And if you look around, a lot of new creation is coming out because people are bored
Yes.
and they have nothing to do, or they have more time, freedom time, and they look around and they do something different. So don't look at this boredom as something very bad. Sometimes it's good. And when a boredom, you will tend to, I mean, as a human, you will tend to look at things, new things to do and new things to try.
Yeah, that's a good side of the boredom. Is imagination is calling you.
Yes.
You got to, you can actually think of something. A lot
Yeah.
of creation is actually derived from there. So next, I want to bring you this word, which I experience it quite often sometimes. It's called disappointment. I believe that this is not new words for you, right? It's kind of common words. And what is exactly disappointment? Disappointment means that you have some unmet expectations, which means that the more significant of your expectation, the more significant of your disappointment that you are going to experience. So according to this book, Brené Brown have these two category of expectation. First is called unexamined and unexpressed expectation, which is when we develop expectation, we paint a picture or a movie inside our head that how things are going to be and how they're going to look like. But so when the movie or the picture that you paint into your mind fall out in the real life, means that it doesn't happen in the real life, you feel disappointed. So that is about unexamined and unexpressed expectation. At the same time, it brings another emotion like shame, hurt, or anger with it. You may experience something like a mixture, not necessarily just feel solely disappointed. And now there's another part is called examined and expressed expectation. This is the time that when someone they share their hopes and dreams with us, and we are witnessing a deep courage and vulnerability from them. Celebrating their success is definitely very easy, but at the same time, when disappointments happen, so it is such an incredible opportunity to have a meaningful connection. This is exactly what this book are trying to bring to you, because this is the book that they want to mapping the meaningful connection, the human experience together with another human being. So when other people having some disappointment, it is such a great time or opportunity for you to have a greater connection with another person. So this is what I want to share with you about disappointment. So let's go for the next one.
I think the next
Places we
one we
go.
talk about, places we go when it's beyond us, right? And we want to talk about curiosity, right?
Yes, go. We okay, let me start first. Curiosity seems like it's both you feel like it's a trait and also it's a state. Interest is more on a state. So let me explain more from the book is this. Curiosity seems that involve both of the feeling, the emotion, and also the thinking part, the cognition part, which interest is more on the thinking part. So, meaning that interest is the place that you can engage or experience. So, what I want to share with you is I'm more curious into the curiosity part. Why? Because curiosity is correlated with creativity, intelligence, improved learning and memory, and problem solving. So I always love to say, I'm curious to know about this, and definitely ingrained in me that, I have this very strong sense of curious to know and go and discover a lot of different things. And I'm very curious also, Gideon, you have anything to add on into this curiosity and interest part?
Just want to say like curiosity, choosing to be curious also means that choosing to be vulnerable
Yeah.
because it requires us to surrender or telling people that you are uncertain, you
Yes.
are not sure, and you're willing to explore.
Hmm.
We have because when you choose curiosity, you have to ask questions, you have to admit that you don't know, you have to risk being told that we shouldn't be asking. Sometimes when people ask you, don't ask, why you ask so much? And sometimes we have make discovery that is discomfort, or we have to admit that we are wrong in the end. So
Yeah.
choosing to be curiosity is actually a courage also. Yeah.
Yes. So important. So as a human, we must have this curiosity, or else you'll feel a little bit bored. We come back to the boredom, right? So next will be places that we go when things are not what they seem. So under this category, there is so many different amusement, bittersweetness, nostalgia, cognitive dissonance, paradox, irony, and sarcasm. So I would love to share with you is more on the bittersweetness. Bittersweetness is definitely like, you have the bitter part and you have the sweet part. So it's a mixture of the feelings of happiness and sadness. So it's very easy to understand, the bittersweet side of appreciating life's most precious moment is the unbearable awareness that those moments are passing. Means that you may not have the moment back. For example, someone passed away, and you know that forever you won't have the moment together with the person again. So that is called bittersweetness. So, Gideon, I know that you want to share another one.
I want to talk about paradox, and this is not a easy word or meaning to digest because paradox means there's a contradictions. There's a difference between two related components. And according to the books, as a human, it is so happen that believe it or not, as a human, we can hold contradict emotion at the same time. Two or three contradict
Yeah.
emotions. Example, creativity versus discipline.
Mm.
Um, Even though you are a creative person, you still need to be disciplined in doing creativity words. For example, like for me, I like drawing. You just can't say that, oh, because I'm a artistic person, I don't need to practice or I don't need to draw oftenly. But even as a person that is, for me, like need to draw, I still need to practice every day. So like creativity and discipline, actually, they can live together. Believe it or not, they can live together. Another paradox is like innovation versus executions.
Mm.
So like in a technology company, uh, if a company that is emphasize a lot of innovations, they still need to execute it, else it will just as a dream or as in a paper. So innovation and execution has to be balanced. Another one is I think what we always talk about is freedom versus responsibility. I know a lot of people who are listening or youngster nowadays, they want to have freedom, but we still need to think about our responsibility to the family, to the society, to the countries. And it seems contradict, but it can be lived together, you know. We just need to find a balance, or sometimes we can say that there are certain time we have freedom, like certain time in your days, like morning, you have your freedom to do things, and then in the afternoon you need to have responsibility to your family, maybe, you know, taking care of them, and at night you can have your time back. So maybe at different state of time you can have different, you know, state of mind. Yeah, hopefully, you know,
Yeah.
you hear, you can digest this about paradox.
Yeah, definitely a lot of great more example in the book.
Yeah.
So let's go to the last one, which I want to share with you by today. It's called Places That We Go When We Are Hurting. So under this, we have anguish, hopelessness, despair, sadness, and grief. So I particularly want to highlight exactly this one. It's called anguish because this was, how I experienced last year, and I don't have any words to describe how I feel. And I use multiple words to describe my feelings at the same time. So let me bring to you this one. Anguish is an almost unbearable and traumatic thrill of shock, incredible incredulity, grief, and powerlessness. Shock and incredulity can actually take away your breath, and grief and powerlessness can come from our hearts and minds. Actually, when you feel anguish, it is almost you feel unbearable for you. You don't even have the ability to breathe, to take your breath, feel, and think. And literally, you feel like your body is like crumble. It will force you down to the ground. You may not able to feel like you can get up. You just like lying down on the ground that which you can't actually even move. And the main part, I remember last time I used this word a lot, which is I feel powerlessness. That is exactly you feel like you can't even have any power to take over anything in your life. So that is something you definitely is very traumatic at the time. So what I want to bring to you is, however, whatever you feel like anguish, you can actually reclaim back how you feel previously. Take back your power to your breath, to your feeling, and also your thought, your thinking. The main part is you need some help. Get some help. You need time. Give yourself the time. You can heal yourself from there. It's just like how I feel, how I heal myself from there. But what I want to share with you is there is one sentence from this book. I quote from this sentence. I'm still me at my core, but it took time and help and processing for the bones to come back. And they are slightly different than they were before. That is exactly how I feel. I can get back myself as in my core of who I am, but there is some slightly different from my previous me. You will never get back exactly the same you last time. So it is such, wow, when I read this, I can get it so well. Uh, this is exactly anguish, is how I feel. I can just tell people that, yeah, I feel anguish. And I want to remind you all is this one. No matter what you experience right now, good, bad, or even you feel like anguish at the moment, if you're listening to me right now, remember that our human spirit is resilient. Our human spirit is able to reclaim back our power. And never underestimate yourself for that. So that's all for my sharing. And I know Gideon, you would love to share another one before we close.
Let's go more hurt thing. So I'm going to share the word despair, and despair is a sense of hopelessness about a person's entire life and future. It's like end of the world in your despair, when extreme hopelessness seep into all the corners of our life and combine with our extreme sadness, we feel despair. And of course, this is like end of the world. But according to the book, remember this 3P, which will help you, right? 3P: personalizations, permanence, and pervasiveness. I'll talk a little bit about these three words. Personalizations. So don't always think about that the problem is because of you. Okay, because of you, all these things happen. We have to look outside of ourselves, and sometimes it's just pure luck, or sometimes it's because of environment, and sometimes it's because of the other person and causing this problem. So don't lump everything the problem to yourself, okay? And it may not be you, or you are just part of it, or it just happened to you. I mean, yes, things just happen to you, okay? The other thing is about permanence. Permanent is, don't think about that problem will be forever, forever, happen forever. The book talk about that. I think there is a limit to all the emotion that we're talking about. Hopefully, right, that is not permanent forever until you die, right? So so hopefully the thing is there is a time span for this, but don't think about, I mean, we always talk about, don't say that time can heal everything, but we have to do something along the way. Time maybe help you easier to cope with something. Yeah. The other word is about pervasiveness, and don't think that the problem will affect all the aspect of your life. Maybe your problem, your banner just coming from just one part. Yeah. Relationship with other people, friends. So don't think that this problem is all will affect all your aspect of life. Hopefully these 3P will help you.
Yeah. And I would love definitely any one of you that listen until this moment. I know it's a long time. And let us know that which emotion in the list that we share in these 6 categories that resonate with you the most. And let us know in the comment section below, and see you next time.